Welcome back to the F123 My Team Save. It's round 3 of our second season. We've had a wonderful result in race 1 and a painful race 2. Hoping that 3 is more of the first than the second. Mixed conditions for the race though. Starts dry. Will probably rain not that long into the race at all. But how heavy that rain is going to be, we don't yet know. And then will dry up before the end. So, your guess is as good as mine as to what our pace is going to be like in Australia. But it's a race that we did relatively well at last year. We came 12th in Australia last season, which was a decent result. We were very happy with that. And hopefully we can get some good points this time around after just missing out in Jeddah last time round. The R&D progress has changed again as we've got to Australia. You know that step that we did when we got to Bahrain? We've only gone and done it again. Ferrari are basically the same as Mercedes. Red Bull are basically the same as Aston Martin. And we are now right behind them. Alpine have fallen behind a little bit. Everybody, other than the front four, has made a bit of an upwards trajectory here. But none more so than ourselves. And no one has grown like us in this season, all told, at all. We've prepared well in between seasons. We're going well so far this season. And hopefully, with more resource points found, finally, hopefully, a good result from Pierre Gasly, we can start closing in on more points individually and as a team as well. Drop the video a like and make sure you subscribe to the channel and you won't miss out on any more of this save. I'm going to head straight to practice, get my laps in, get my resource points in, and then we can think about where we're going to start to improve the car yet further. We want to be on this trajectory for the rest of the season. We could realistically end this season as a team that are challenging for wins every single race weekend. I'd love that, but we need to get there first. We only get there by putting in the hard work now. Practice programs run. The quali pace one we weren't quite able to do, so I'm not sure how well qualifying may or may not go. The lap time we put in was decent, but they said I was 2 or 3 tenths off. It might have been 3 or 4 tenths off actually completing the program. So I feel competitive, but whether that feeling of competitiveness lasts to actually being on track, I don't know. Seemingly, the weather forecast has switched from approximate to accurate. So, frustratingly, that is going to affect us for this weekend, meaning that we definitively know that that is going to be the weather for the race. Whether there's enough rain there to warrant intermediate tyres, I don't know, because I can't see the percentages, unfortunately. We will change that back after this race weekend. I can't do it mid-weekend, unfortunately. A number of people in chat apparently have suffered the same thing with that particular setting for theirs themselves resetting somehow in between play sessions, even though there hasn't been a patch to the game. Maybe there was a hotfix that's gone through that we're not aware of. I don't know. But it's certainly something that I've had to deal with here. By all means, check your own settings as well and make sure everything is as it should be for you too. For me, though, qualifying next. We've put fresh bits in the car. So we should be all good to go for qualifying to be at our absolute fastest. It's a 17.9. Okay. I did a 17.2 in the quali practice program. Where's my pace gone? I do have enough time for another lap. So I am going to try and complete this lap and find that time back again. So I did a 17.2 in the quali practice program. So I was super confident of going out in this session, replicating that lap time and just getting myself through to the next session quite comfortably. We found another 4.5 tenths on the next lap, so that will be us through to the next round of qualifying. Thank you. A 17.4 is P11, and that was on evidently a set of tyres that had done an extra run. So we are definitely through, and I know I've got a 17.2 in the bag. Why I wasn't able to pull that out, I don't know. Maybe my quali practice program lap was an absolute banger. I don't know, but we are comfortably through. In the end, I think over a second.
Okay, we're currently in the drop zone. We need you to move up into the top 10 or we're not going to progress to the shootout.
That's the plan, Mark. When we get around the final corner. I'm going to find 1.2 seconds, so we're on for a 17 flat here. It's a 16.9, I think, by a few tenths of a second, which is good enough for P6. We are through to Q3. Finding more and more pace in the car as time goes by. Pierre out in P13, however, a full half second off progressing. Doesn't seem to matter what teammate I have. Pierre Gasly's like a 90+ rated teammate in the 5th best car that is basically just as good as the 3rd and 4th best cars, and he can't get out of Q2. We're going to put in a 16.9 something. Might have just been a 16.8 something. But I don't think that's any, yeah, it's no better than P8 for us. P8's not bad, second season, but it's not
With qualifying finish,
great.
It's time to remind ourselves once again of our top three.
Jesus,
Leclerc,
a
Verstappen,
16.1!
and George Russell.
Charles is my rival as well, and he's just slammed out a lap time that is over, he's nearly 3/4 of a second faster than me. Whoa! Charles! Stop it, pal! That's a naughty, dirty, disgusting lap from Charles Leclerc. I'm regretting putting him as my rival now. That Ferrari car shouldn't be that quick. That's outrageous. We had a surprising couple of penalties in Saudi Arabia last time out, but I don't envisage any more on the back of that. We haven't had any retirements or anything throughout the course of the sessions for accidents or parts giving way, so I imagine we will be P8. And indeed we are. It's not a bad starting position at all, certainly compared to the last time we were out on track. Gasly P13, I really hope can move forward from there. But I'm so disappointed in just the capabilities of such a high-rated driver in what is evidently a car that is good enough to challenge for podiums as per Bahrain, as per the end of last season. So I don't really know why he's not pulling his finger out. I'm tempted to start on softs here and go till the rain and then go mediums later in the race, because that rain is going to come early, surely. But the rain is coming very quickly, so surely the soft tyre is the play, and then it rains and we pit for inters. It seems rather obvious, doesn't it? I can't ask about the weather until we start on our formation lap, which is frustrating, because I'd love to know what the forecast is ahead of time from Mark. But regardless, I think softs at the start of the play, and then we'll just take it from there. Because, I mean, nobody seems to know what to do. There's mediums, there's softs, and there's hards in there. So, Christ knows. But as long as we're quick at the start, we'll try and make as much time as we can. And hopefully then, the rain comes after that.
The rain's a few lap outs yet, but it is coming, so be careful.
There you
Dryers
go.
definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
It says few lap outs rather than laps out. But it says it's a few laps out, but it's definitely coming. So why there are people on mediums or hards, I've no idea. If that rain is going to come very quickly, then why start on a harder compound?
5 minutes until rainfall expected. 5 minutes until rain.
5 minutes to the rain.
Like the best tyre for now.
So Ocon on hards is knackered. 5 minutes till rain. Unless it drizzles only, other drivers or teams' choice to start on anything other than a soft tyre is ludicrous. Because surely we're going to be going to inters by lap 6 or 7. The rain might start lap 3 or 4. And if it falls quite heavily, then we'll be on inters very shortly after that. And there's no way you need mediums or hards to get there. We'll park a bit better than we did in Saudi Arabia. I went 30 centimetres over in Saudi. 0.8.
Okay, good parking
Probably
there,
a
mate.
little
Now
bit
we need to
too
make sure we
cautious
get
on
great
that
launch
occasion.
as the race starts.
But with Perez on
Keep
mediums,
an eye on
we'll
the
try
lights.
and
The
take
start
him before the
sequence will begin
start.
as soon as the grid is-
The majority of those in front are on softs, but Lewis, you can see, is on mediums there on the left-hand side as well. Oh, I got a lot of wheel spin off the start there. It's actually a bad start by me, although got a bit of a run. Whoa, I had to get out of the throttle there. Tsunoda just swerving all over the place. Perez actually is shot up. Perez has had a great start on those medium tyres. Here comes Lando Norris around the outside of me. I'm using a bit of battery here just to stick with. Try and get up the inside of Tsunoda into 3. And have done so. Yellow flags behind. We're up into P7 from P8. And hopefully we can stick with those in front with good battery management. That was a terrible turn there. But battery management's out the window now because I'm just trying to stay ahead of Yuki, who's going up the inside, giving him enough room but not being mad respectful with it, just as he wasn't with me in the wall. We're through. I had to cut the corner a little bit, but I was worried about running wide and into him. They seem to be very, very fast in a straight line in this second season, the other drivers. Leclerc's gone from pole to 6th. That's not a great start for you, is it, Charles? Really? Let's be honest. That's not a great start for you at all. Now tell me about that weather again.
Rain is inbound and we're expecting it in around 5 minutes. 5 minutes until the rain.
Okay, so the rain is now falling. You can see it. He's done it again there, Charles. He brakes and moves over to the racing line. Right in front of you in the braking zone. That is naughty. I'm going to have to, if I'm going to get past Chelsea, I'm just going to have to get very aggressive around the outside, aren't I? Sorry, up the inside. I'm also going to actually have to be able to stick behind him, which is going to be evidently perhaps more difficult now that it's raining and the grip is falling away.
Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 5.3 seconds.
Fully expecting to be uncompetitive in the wet as well, which is the even more frustrating thing.
Okay, the forecast suggests this rain's going to keep getting stronger for at least the next 15 minutes. Dries definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
Yeah, the rain is starting to bounce off the road now. We're not long from Inters. Max is having a look around the outside of Carlos Sainz here. Really not sure whether it's going to be Inter's time soon.
The forecast suggests this rain's going to keep getting stronger for at least the next 15 minutes. Dries definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
I'm not sure. Look at the puddles. I'm pitting.
Pitting this lap then. Come into the pits at the end of this lap.
This might be a very bad call, but I am dipping. There are puddles appearing on the road. Like, surely this is the right call.
All right, we'll be doing one more stop.
I mean, look at
today.
the track.
One stop left in this strategy.
Keep an eye on the gaps around us in front. Not stopping well enough. Look at the track, man. This is not a dry track anymore.
Use your overtake button more. It's time to utilise some of this energy. Come on.
Maybe we should have put a bit more front wing in. DRS disabled. They're still... Oh no, they are in. They are in. Some are in, some are not. They're not double stacking. But we have taken the pit stop at the right time, I feel. We stopped exactly at the right time there.
In the pits.
Gasly's in the pits now. Now I'm going to be stuck here behind the Williams, and that is not where I want to be. That's going to potentially cost me part of my undercut there. Just getting caught on that corner. Coming out in front of me here. Alonso's jumped me, and I think that's solely down to me getting
the rain's
caught.
Gonna keep getting heavier for the
We're going to get him. We're going to get him.
At least.
I might have been able to get Sainz if I hadn't been caught behind Logan Sargent going around the final corner. Iwasa is still on dry tyres. The other cars that are in the front teams are still on dry tyres as well. Let me through. Because they didn't want to double stack, and they're going to lose even more time, surely. The double stack must be more beneficial than this, surely. We're going around another lap on dry tyres in these conditions. They're tumbling, those that are still on. I'm not going to be as competitive in the wet. I never am. So we're probably going to be more battling with Alonso than we are anybody from the front 6 teams. Sorry, front 6 drivers from the top 3 or 4 teams. But I'd like to think that that undercut is worth something. Regardless of getting stuck behind a couple of drivers, it's got to be worth something. Especially in the final sector. Now we find out. We'll take Bottas. And we will take each of the Ferrari, the Red Bull and the Mercedes. That is P4 for us, coming up just ahead of George Russell. We're P4 now. We've undercut 1 Ferrari, 1 Mercedes and 1 Red Bull. I think that might be why the engine is as high on the performance index as it is. I think we're down on engine power, but because our ERS is so good, that's why our engine is as high up on the index as it is. I think I still need to put some some resource points into engine power, as well as the chassis and the aero. Just can't get the car stopped into that penultimate turn, and it's costing me so much time every lap. I don't have any safety car.
Deployed,
Red flag. Wow.
Delta. Make sure you keep it positive as we catch the pack.
What was that for? I can't see the instant replay. There's a red flag for something, but I've no idea what for. Might as well put a fresh set of inters on, and then they'll just go until it's sunny again. So a brand new set of inters. Don't know who's out. Don't know what caused the safety car, but it's a restart, standing restart. Albon, Stroll, De Vries and Piastri. It was a 4-car accident. I'm gutted I didn't pause it quickly enough to see what the hell happened there. 4 cars crash out. Unreal. Pierre's up to P11. I'm still P4, but
away in just a moment. Stand by.
Now from a standing start, I don't know. Oh, I nailed that start. To the millisecond, we nailed that start. Can I get through that gap? It's closing. We are through. Leclerc on my outside. It's Sainz. I'm up to P2 from the restart. Holy moly, that is the best start I've ever done in any race ever. I got off the line so quickly, I genuinely thought I jumped it. Lewis leads from ourselves. And now I'm just going to have to defend for my life for the rest of this race. Because there's no way I hang on to the back of Lewis. All I'm doing now is going to ruin everybody else behind me's race as they try and battle to get past me. But that was an unbelievable race start. Or race restart.
Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 4.9 seconds. They're on a fresh set of inters. They're 8th.
8th!
Last lap was a 1:30.4.
Pierre in the points! Pierre in the points! He might be saving his job in a minute. If Pierre doesn't score points, even remotely regularly, I would be more inclined.
Clear patch on its way. There's about 10 more minutes of this rain.
10 more minutes of rain, then we can get dry tyres on again. I would be more inclined to let Pierre leave, sign an absolutely dead second driver, save all of my money, and just spend it all on the facilities for the rest of this second season. And then save for a big name next season once the car and facilities are significantly up to scratch. Because Pierre is a 90 plus rated driver, and in this car right now, it's just not pulling his weight. If I can finish P4 and be running in P2, then Pierre shouldn't be qualifying P13. I'm sorry, it's just not good enough. Tell me about that dry spell.
Inters look like the best tyre for now.
Not what I asked, but that means that the weather is drying up soon. Question is, how quickly does the track dry up once it does completely stop? I'll set medium tyres next.
Medium tyres at the next stop.
I've got new mediums left. I've got used soft. I think the rain has stopped falling, which means the tyres are only going to get hotter and hotter and hotter as time goes on. We've got the next set, so to speak, as the next tyre that we'll go to. So if we do just want to dip into the box, we can do. And no risks at this stage. We don't want to. We took the risk to go to Inters early because it was worth the risk. This is not worth the risk right now. It might just be because I'm further away from Lewis and there's less spray. Virtual safety car.
Virtual safety car. Reduce speed immediately and keep a positive delta.
I don't know why.
Okay.
Someone spun at the first turn. That's what it is. I thought it was the guy on the. I thought it was that. I thought it was this Alpine back here. It's not. It's Valtteri Bottas has binned it. He did that in real life, didn't he, Valtteri Bottas? That exact crash, I think, for Mercedes a few years ago.
Okay, we've got a
full safety car.
Safety car's out.
Okay, I am pitting for mediums.
Slow down, maintain.
This might be if nobody else reacts.
Confirmed,
This might be a race win. The clever thing to do here is to pick for mediums, and then whilst we're behind the safety car, the track will continue to dry out. So I am going to have a big old box for a pair of brand new medium tyres. And if nobody else reacts... Come on, slow down, fuck it down. If nobody else reacts, which Lewis hasn't, then they will all pit again once the safety car goes, and we should have close to a full pit stop on everyone. Come out in P10 ahead of Liam Lawson. I want to try and manage these tyres as best I can. I don't want them to overheat. I don't want to lose too much wear on them, but the safety car's not that far down the road, so we shouldn't. And they are going to be up to temperature very soon. We, I think, have just won this Grand Prix, barring another potential safety car. I think we've just won the Grand Prix in Australia. This might be our first race win as a driver and a team. It's not quite smooth sailing. The temps are still not in the ideal window. Others are dipping. Others are dipping now. Here we go. So it's not going to be quite as straightforward as we'd hoped, because they will catch the safety car back up again. The race win has just eluded us, potentially, because now they're all going to box. It's literally only myself, George Russell and Max Verstappen that haven't pit. So now we're going to have to wait even longer for them all to come round again. But crucially, they're all going to softs, so they are going to have to pit again for sure. I might not have to. If I do have to, then I've got another set of brand new mediums I can go to, or a set of slightly used softs that are going to take me to the end. So I think Verstappen and Russell will probably pit at the end of this lap, maybe? And then we will be leading the race on the restart. We're going to get another lap behind the safety car, which again is only... No, we're not. We're not going to get another lap behind the safety car.
When the field accelerates, remember, there's no overtaking until the timing line. Safety car in this lap.
So this is the race now. Verstappen and Russell don't look like they're going to box. No, they are. They are. They're boxing. I'm in control. Well, bollocks to it. I'm off then. See you, lads. Bye. Your race leader, Chesnoid Racing, and now trying to build a gap. With green flag racing, and I'm just going to try and get away as best I can. That's not going to work though, of course, because they've got soft tyres on, but they are definitely going to have to pit again, whereas I might not have to. Time to make this car as wide as I can possibly do so. Defend for my life for potentially a race win. I'll ask if they're pitting again, but I'm sure they will.
Their tyres are just one lap old. We think they've got one more stop.
They are stopping again.
1 minute 49.7.
cut back on him? Maybe no, the softs are just too strong. Or are they, with battery? Give me that first place back again, please, Lewis Hamilton. Thank you, sir. I do want to make sure my tyres last at the same time.
Nice move. Good job.
Because I shouldn't have to pit again. But there are 28 laps to go to the end. And they're now fighting behind me. And I'm going to try and just piss off. And they'll use the best of their soft tyre, battling with one another, or trying to catch and then overtake me. We know that Lewis is definitely faster than Carlos as well. Man, this is going to be an intense finish to the race, isn't it? Well spotted. Gasly P4. Gasly P4 right now. Oh my god! Everyone's gone soft for 10 drivers behind me. Then Liam Lawson's gone hards to the end. Logan has gone mediums probably to the end as well. We've now got five DNFs. Still waiting to see what happens to those 4 guys that crashed out the course. The red flag in the first place. I'm pretty sure we're on for a race win here. Esteban Ocon is out. Esteban Ocon has just crashed, mate. That's 6 DNFs. What's happened to Ocon in his Alpine? His engine's gone. That is an engine blowout for Ocon. That won't be a VSC or a safety car. Sainz still ahead of Hamilton. DRS now enabled. Yellow flag for Esteban Ocon's retiring car down the bottom of the escape road there, but we're fine to continue.
Okay, clear.
Lewis is past Carlos. Lewis Hamilton past Carlos Sainz and now will race up to the back of me, probably in less than 2 laps. As we start lap 34, Lewis is released. Fastest lap of the race from me, probably to lose that soon to a DRS-filled soft runner, but we'll take it for now. There you go, Max Verstappen, that didn't take long. Lewis now within DRS range of me. He's dragging everyone else with him. Max and George running at the back by a margin. This has not gone well for them at all. They should have just pit and double stacked with everybody else, but they made the call to stay out, and it's going to cost them everything. Personal fastest lap of the race, though. Will be at 8/10 slower than Charles Leclerc's newly set fastest lap of the race. Not letting you have it, Lewis. You can. I've got such a train behind me right now. Sorry, gents. Maybe 9 cars behind me. Where is Charles Leclerc? Charles Leclerc's 7th. So I've got 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th right behind me. But we know they've all got to stop again. Lewis is going to get me here. Doesn't matter how much battery I burn. It's not going to work. Try and push him deep, but he's getting feisty.
Focus. We need to stay on form.
Oh, get my elbows out. You're not coming past me, pal. Yes, the longer we hold them off, the better chance we have of getting this race win. 11% wear on the tyres now, though I think I am going to have to pit again as well. The question is, when do I pit and what for? What I pit for depends on what they pit for. And when they pit. How much of an undercut do they go for? Oh, bugger. I got caught on the curb there. That's cost me P1. Might cost me more than P1. Concentrate, Ches. Stop doing commentary. You can commentate when you win the bloody race. When did we put these tyres on? The softs are starting to give a bit round the corners already. We didn't leave the safety car till lap 31. 10 laps. And are at 14% wear. These will take me to the end, but I will be slow by the end. It's going to be a tough ask to take these all the way to the end, I think. The longer these guys stay out, the better chance I have. Because it just means the less time they have to come back at me. We're getting to that crossover point. I'm now starting to get faster than they are around the turns. I'm going to make a move for the lead. It's a lunge. Didn't get it done. That move is there though. Stop defending, Lewis. You're just going to cost everybody time. Got the inside of your turn 3 instead. Don't just turn into me. You can obviously see that I'm there, mate. Checo's pit. They're starting to pit behind. Okay, this is it. This is what does or doesn't make our race. I think they're going to pit this lap. Yep, Lewis is in. Carlos 2. We will be running P1 and P2 as Chesnoid Racing for the first time ever. Not for long, because Pierre's probably going to pit soon too, but... And Lewis has gone to hards. I have a fresh set of mediums if I need to stop again. Lewis has gone to the hard tyre. Sainz went to mediums. Now I need to either make this set of tyres last, or we need to pit now for a new set of mediums and cover the undercut. But Carlos Sainz pit for mediums. My tyres are 23% worn after 14 laps unboxing.
Understood. Stopping this lap.
I can't take the risk. They're going to be like 50% worn at the end of the race. I've got to pit. Staying out would probably just be suicide. Pierre's pit behind me as well. Oh, Pierre! Need a good stop, gents.
Right, let's go. Come on. That was a fantastic stop. Faster than we were expecting.
Goes Logan Sargent. I need to stay ahead of Logan. I need to stay ahead of Logan. Just to have that barrier. Now Liam Lawson is going to the end on that set of hard tyres, and he currently leads the race. Lewis has dropped loads of positions though, but that was a very important overtake on Logan Sargent there. Carlos will now get him here, you would imagine, but Lewis is down to P6 currently, running a net P4, I think. Logan holds the position. Go on, Logie Sarge. If I could have team ordered him and told him to pit next lap, I would have done, and it would have cost him less time, but what can you do? Now I need to make no mistakes for the next 13 laps. Can't afford to make a single mistake if we want to win this race. Covering the undercut was definitely the right thing to do. Lawson's not pitting, no. True. Yeah, Lawson's not pitting. Sargent should be, though. Sargent may have already. He has, I think. Max Verstappen, fastest lap of the race. We certainly won't be getting that. That gap to those behind is growing. If it were a Mercedes, it probably wouldn't. But because it's the Red Bull and the Ferrari, I think we're just, provided I don't make any mistakes and there's no safety cars or anything, I think that's it. I think we're just going to the end now, provided I can keep my pace up. 10 and a bit laps to go between us and a maiden victory. Hopefully Pierre can finish at least P8. He might have been able to finish slightly higher than P8 if he hadn't had to double stack, but if it means the team gets a win, then I'm sorry, he had to take the sacrifice. Yeah, team orders, considering in my team it's your team, I think team orders should be a thing in my team for you to be in control of. And also I think in just driver career, when you're not owning the team orders should be a thing, i.e. the team makes a decision for you as to whether you do or don't move out of the way or pit or do whatever. Carlos is now up to P2. No, not up to P2. He took it, and then Liam was like, no you don't. Liam Lawson trying to hang on for as many points as he possibly can on very worn hards for another 9 laps. And gaps behind as Perez fights with Leclerc as well. I don't think we're actually organically this much faster than those behind, but because everyone's fighting tooth and nail for everything. I mean, if you look at the minimap, look at the group of cars where Charles Leclerc is. There's so many cars there. They're all just battling and squabbling amongst one another. You've got Leclerc, Perez, Hamilton, Tsunoda, Gasly, Alonso, and Norris. The whole points train is there from Leclerc down. There are 7 cars in that train. So they're just going to be taking time off one another the entire time, which is why we're gapping Leclerc and Perez the way that we are. And we're in the performance index, we're right with Ferrari and Red Bull now, aren't we? So that's why we're able to extend over Carlos Sainz just by driving clean and as fast as possible and utilising our battery as best we can. We're able to have the pace on the Ferrari as well. If it was Charles Leclerc, not Carlos Sainz, it might be a different story. If it were a Mercedes, then it certainly would be a different story. If it were George Russell or Lewis Hamilton, either Mercedes would certainly close me down. But 7.5 seconds with 8 laps to go and growing. Barring a failure or a safety car or a red flag or a commentator's curse, we're going to win this Grand Prix.
Car behind has minor front wing damage.
Ah.
Time last lap was a
there you go.
22.0.
That's why Carlos isn't closing. Or he's falling back by as much as he is. He has minor front wing damage. That makes the picture look slightly less dominant, doesn't it? Gasly up to P5, I've just seen. Go on, Pierre, lad. Pierre's up to P5. And breaking away from Sergio Perez, if you look at the mini-map. Pierre Gasly! Let's go, son. Pierre to P4 by overtaking Liam Lawson before the end, surely. We'll keep an eye on the gap between Leclerc and Pierre. Well, I'm sure Leclerc will gap. But Pierre Gasly, my teammate, in any guise, be that Iwasa, Jamie Chadwick or Pierre Gasly, for the first time, a teammate of me in Chesnoid Racing is going to score points, barring any commentators' curses and DNFs. I think Perez has trouble too. I think Perez has got damage because he's fallen behind Yuki Tsunoda now as well. Sergio Perez is definitely carrying damage. There's no way he falls behind by quite such a margin without damage, surely. Gap between Charles and Gasly now a second. Gasly's pushing for a P4. If Gasly can get Charles Leclerc and then somehow close down on Liam Lawson, we might have a double Chesnoid Racing podium. He's got 5 laps to get past the Ferrari, which is now half a second because DRS is so strong. And then he's got a 1.5 second gap to Liam Lawson. At present, even though he's currently in P5, Pierre Gasly is the favourite for the podium. Gasly past Leclerc. They're still fighting hard, but Gasly past Leclerc. 1.5 seconds to Lawson. Pierre Gasly! Go on, son! on Twitter again. Can't believe you haven't followed me. So sad. 1.1 seconds to Liam Lawson, who has held on valiantly with those hard tyres. Even the even the Alfa Romeo of Fernando Alonso is past Perez now. He was the cork in that bottle. Gasly P3! Yes! Wham! Double Chesnoid Racing podium! My first win, my third or fourth podium, and Pierre's first points, let alone podium, in this car. George Russell is out of the race. He's retired now at the back of the grid. Be an engine failure, I'm sure. There's no way he's just binned it at this stage of the race. Surely George Russell hasn't just binned it now. Yeah, it's an engine blowout. I thought as much. Now, he has a Mercedes engine, obviously, as do I. Let's have no more blowouts, shall we? No more retirees, but this is the most DNFs we've ever had in a race before. 7 non-finishers at this stage. Only 15 cars are going to end the Grand Prix, with 4 out in a single incident, of which I still need to see if I can find out what happened. 2 laps to go. And on to... Oh, Tsunoda's just taken his teammate. Tsunoda and Lawson battling over a P5 currently. Both Aston Martins going for it. Fair play to Liam Lawson. It was worth a go hanging out on those hard tyres. It's not quite worked out for him, but it really genuinely could have. And that effectively is why we picked to cover everyone else's pit stops, because he's on hard tyres. I was on mediums, so if he's at this dead, my mediums would have been even further gone. It is, of course, a very circumstantial victory. We needed the red flag. We needed the restart. We needed the wet running. We needed Lewis Hamilton to pit for hards and get stuck in traffic. We needed Carlos Sainz to carry damage. We needed retirements elsewhere. Max Verstappen to ruin his race with George Russell by not pitting behind the safety car until the safety car came in. It's a very circumstantial victory. So don't get used to this. We need to make the most of this and enjoy it whilst we can, because this might not happen for another 10 races or so. It's been absolute chaos, but for the very first time, Chesnoid Racing on F123 take the checkered flag and win a Grand Prix. We've done it, boys. We've done it. Down under in just race 3, and Pierre gets to share the podium with us as well, which is all the sweeter.
You have to give kudos to the team for getting that car to the checkered flag.
We didn't have the pace without the chaos to do that, but that's what Formula 1 is all about. Chaos, and you make the most of it. And you can get yourself on the podium. Or even a race win. Oh, Pierre, done very well. What I'd love to see is the licensing for the official F1 trophies in the game. That would be another great step. Not a massive feature, but would make a huge bit of difference as we celebrate with the champagne. Weirdly, the music isn't there. We noticed that last year when we stopped on the podium. I don't really know why, but hopefully that's a bug they'll fix. Fair play to Carlos Sainz for battling on with a broken front wing. Managed to get himself a very solid P2 after starting P4. We go P8 to P1, and Pierre Gasly goes P13 to P3. Right, can I save the replay?
It's time to check out.
How do I save the full race replay? I actually don't know how to do that. It's weird that there's not... I should have the opportunity to... It should let me save the full race replay, shouldn't it? I'm not sure. We'll try and find that crash then that caused the red flag. Let's have a look. Oh, you can only do that on PC, can you? Okay, that's why then. Well, let's try and find out what happened with that red flag. Might take a while, so there will be a cut here YouTube video. Oh, there you go. So the AlphaTauri of Lance Stroll tangles with the Alpine of Bottas, spins out, and then the Williams runs into him, and as does the Mercedes and the Haas. That is what happened to cause the red flag. So that's what happened with the red flag. And that is what completely changed the outlook of our Grand Prix. It took 106 minutes to complete that race, which is an hour and 46 minutes. But we will take the P1 with 25 points. Sorry, we don't get the fastest lap. Max in P13 gets it, so no one gets the fastest lap point. Because, of course, to get the fastest lap point, you have to be in the top 10. Charles had a decent race in the end, but unfortunately for him, starting pole and finishing fourth isn't a great result regardless. But we're going to get loads of team and driver acclaim from that. Definitely going to get quite a bit of moolah as well, which will come in handy very nicely. $1 million worth. And hopefully, between now and the next Grand Prix, which I believe is China, for the first time, it is indeed the Chinese Grand Prix on the way. We are, hopefully... can I do 2 and 4? No, I can only do that one. Driver acclaim. I'll take the driver acclaim, why not? We've got some bits on the way. 11th and 12th. Oh, we're going to get 2 more upgrades on the car before we get to Australia as well. And I do want to do straight line speed, but that is actually in development already, which is good news. I could do ERS, but honestly, the ERS is so good for us right now. I don't think we need to. I do want that weight redistribution. I do want the weight reduction, but they're both in the process of being done now. I do want the drag reduction as well, but I need to upgrade to Spec 3 for that. DRS could make a massive difference as well, but at the minute, I don't really know where to concentrate my resource points, actually, genuinely. So, for the time being, I'm just going to advance and see what bits go on. But we are going to have to spend some money upgrading our facilities to Spec 3. Everything is pass. Please pass. Engine cover passes. Please pass. Oh, you love to see it!
New parts come through the fabrication process.
We're the second fastest car! We're the second fastest car! We are challenging for a world championship this season, boys. I don't care what anyone else says. From now on, provided we can keep this level of competitiveness up, you can see that we are level with Red Bull and Mercedes, just behind by a pixel or 2 with Ferrari. We may well now be fighting for a driver's world title. Because it's such a long season. Oh my god. Oh my god. I've not done that before in my team. I've never challenged for a driver's title before. This might be the year. In the constructors as well, we are second, level on points with Ferrari. Mercedes are a long way ahead, which is why Pierre Gasly needs to start pulling his weight. But he did pull his weight in that last Grand Prix. Oh my god. Okay. So, I think we're just going to go to the race weekend. Actually, what I need to do is change those settings for the weather, which is something that you guys will need to check on your settings as well. I'm not going to spend any resource points at the minute. We'll just head straight to the race weekend at China, see what the weather's going to do, and then you guys know exactly what to expect from the Chinese Grand Prix for the first time in however many years. Fully dry quali and race, and the practice, actually fully dry. It might be drizzling a bit in quali, but there will be wet in P2, and we can see a fully updated R&D progress chart. Oh, it's just beautiful. Now, at some point, Aston Martin, Red Bull, Mercedes and Ferrari are going to match that level of trajectory. But we are now the second best car, level with Aston Martin, basically. So we are now challenging for victories every single race weekend as it stands moving forward. But that, of course, may change as time goes by and other teams catch up. I can't afford anything on aero at the minute. I could do tyre wear. Tyre wear is high, especially with Baku on the horizon, although it's not quite going to be done in time. Let's do tyre wear too. Okay. Well, that is us then. What a remarkable episode. Drop the video a like if you've enjoyed. I'm sure you have. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I'm sure you should. And make sure you come and join me on Twitch so you can see all of this unfold live. You definitely should. Links in the description down below. Thank you very much for watching, YouTube. I shall see you in the next one very soon indeed for your first ever Chinese Grand Prix for about 4 years. I'll see you then. I'm looking forward to that one, actually.